Let's go.
Happy days.
The train. That can make some nice Western movies.
Doesn't yeah, we have one next to the station.
Mine turkey. Okay, fine.
No, hopefully not. That's not bad at all.
No, I thought that a few times. I think it's Baron.
Right. Okay. We will start with a question, so straight off the bat. If you could use one word to describe what this journey changed inside you, what it taught you, or simply the impact it had on you, what would that be?
I think it's got to be perspective.
Okay.
Perspective. And I say that because I look at the world in a very different lens now. Like, before this, I looked at everything as kind of, it was all meant to be structured, there was the scripts. You had to do things a certain way. But now I've gone out, and I've almost, to me, it's a bit exaggeration, I've almost been in a prison. I've been doing this. Everyone thinks it's freedom. I've been almost having to run, 8, 9 hours a day, do a marathon. And now, to come off of that, I almost feel like I've got the whole world just like to do what I want. And then it's nice just to really be able to feel free in the world and just kind of, it just feels like anything's possible now. If I do, I feel like all the time, I feel like I can do anything, there's no limitations, and there's no, who's really making the boundaries that you can set there.
That's a pretty powerful place to be in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now it's kind of like, I can do anything. I'm not saying that. Honestly.
The evidence would suggest that. When you say prison, though, do you sort of, I guess, when you've been in there and now looking back on it, it'll just be quite different. But as a positive or as a negative, is it essentially like prison as in locked in a positive way, and like there's a goal, we're here to achieve it, or prison as in I've got to do this?
Prisoners have got to do this. It was, I don't think anybody does this for fun. It wasn't really a holiday for me. Don't get me wrong, it was nice to get out and be in nature. There were definitely some good aspects of it, some good views. But no, I knew I could quit. That was a big thing, because I can't just say, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going home. Because the pain of regret, a common quote, pain of regret is way more powerful than pain of discipline. So, to really just to stick it out and to be there and turn up for yourself day after day, you have to be strong every single day. That was a bit of a prison.
Yeah.
And because I knew there was no leaving, and I knew I was locked in. No money, so it's not like I can go around and explore. You are just there. You're there to do a job. You get on there, and that's what I say prison. I didn't have freedom of life.
So why did you say you had to do it? Because you did this out of a choice of your own. There was no necessary, say, build up before, or it wasn't necessarily, you didn't have like a brand supporting you, or like someone, if you like, ever watch you like this is your channel, you want this onto the video, so on and so forth. It was just, I'm going to go and do this. So what was it, I guess, that kept you in it? Was it purely the fact that I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, or was there something else?
I think it's that. I think it's I set out now that I was going to do this thing. I vocalized it, and I believed that I could do it. And I'd said for years before that I'm a strong person and I could do these insane challenges, but I never done it. So I was like, I need the proof that. I need the proof. So just getting out and saying I was going to do this thing around the entire perimeter pushing, and I was like, we should go for it. And that's what stuck out, because I said I was going to do it, and if I stop doing it, then I'll quit. That's the thing. Even if I go round 2, I'm still quit, because I quit the first time. And personally, I don't identify as that. So just to stick it out and be there and turn up for myself, and that's what really drove me through. It's just having self-confidence to say I can do this thing, I can do anything.
Do you think publicising it in terms of just putting it out, as you say, saying you're going to do it, do you think that helped, or was it heavy pressure, if you like, that idea?
I wouldn't say at the beginning it was more of a. It felt more like commitment.
Yeah.
It felt like I was saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this thing." Right? There was a few little worries I had. So when I started to get a bit more popular and had a viral video, I was kind of like, "Oh, I felt like I should have got that. There's a bit of pressure. Like, no, that's no going nowhere." But then I had more of the thought, and I was like, I'm not doing this for them. The reason why I got social media wasn't so everybody else can judge me about the way I'm doing this. This was a person that I'm not doing for the accolade. And it was a way for me to just it was a way to say I'm committed to this thing. And it was a good way to document it as well. I can look back at each day and I can be, I remember that, remember that, remember that. All these things happened. And it's really just to be able to have all that there, and then just the whole page would just say that's me, and that's the journey. So social media powerful, and I just kind of I documented it and put it all out there because I just felt like it was right. I didn't think it was it doesn't feel right to just do something like that, and I'm not taking advantage of the opportunity to document it as well,
Sure.
and potentially inspire other people, raise money for charity. You can do all these things, so why not?
I was going to say, it's probably worth mentioning your sort of charity cause. Do you want to share who that was and what was kind of the thinking behind that originally?
Yeah, so the charity is Family Action. Family Action is a charity that supports parents, families, kids, all sorts. They give support where it's pretty hard to get it. Because a lot of parents I find that are quite supportive in today's day and age. And, I mean, without going crazy into detail, I just feel like my parents, they could get parent support, whether it be through general knowledge or financial situations, and it's also quite an unrecognised charity that people don't really know about. So, giving it the publicity, giving it the funds, rather than just going mainstream where loads of people getting £100,000 on it to mind. Love charity those, but yeah, it's good for someone that's unrecognised and so try and sort of support that where they support someone that's close to being I think that could do more support today's day and age.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I think that's great. Yeah, no, I think, as you said, important maybe all charity originally. You'd hope they do all the right things, but
Yes.
the smaller ones maybe don't have such a big publicised name. Should get the kudos as well.
Yeah.
Nice. I think good on you. I think it's just worth mentioning that we should be thanking both of you that we are in Fitbox in Brighton, who have a few locations here. That run a array of classes. They're High Works Gym as well, so you can come get your high work sessions in. I think they've got 4 locations around Brighton, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but they're very kindly let us use their space, so please go and check them out.
Jason Frost, the Brighton coach.
There we go. Shout out to Jason. Thank you very much. Yeah. And what I was about to was give you a big congratulations, and which I still will, but I also think maybe it's better that you explain who you are and what you've done and the capital challenge that you have just completed.
Yeah. So, Carl Matthews, better known as the Milky Runner. Don't know if you can see that. Amateur reviews of Milky Runner. I did try. Milky Runner. And I've just finished 2 days ago a entire cruise run around Great Britain. I say UK in every single video. I don't say this here. I got 5 days in, and I didn't know the difference between UK and Britain. And I didn't realise that it was like a week in. And I was just like, okay, what? I'm just going to stick it out and send UK. Now, I remember in comments, like, we're in UK, you're in Britain. And you know what? It's getting me. So, this guy's
bad press.
Yeah, and unofficially, the youngest person to do it. Because, so this is a thing as well, because I am the youngest person to do it. I've done it in 3,000 mile route, which is massive numbers, but there isn't bigger route you can do with a bit more precision, and also doing the west of Scotland, where it works out to be about 5,240 miles. That's what a lot of people have done, and I just want to say a man respect to them because there's someone else who did it in 23 and they did the full route. So that's why I say it officially, because I've just done what I'm asked to do. I didn't do it for the accolade, and I just did it as a way so I could clear my head. So it's full respect to the people who have done the full massive route, done it to a team for the
Yes.
accolade.
No, absolutely. And I think it's worth explaining though why you didn't do the full route, because there were limitations that were outside of your control, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So in Scotland.
So in the west of Scotland, so just above all the Loch Ness and Inverness, all that sort of area, it's all super jagged coast. There's not really a trail, and there's no real roads as well. So the distance between service stop is generally averaging like 70 to 100 kilometers every day, and that'll been for about 2 weeks I worked out. So it just wasn't feasible. I couldn't do that, and I couldn't carry all the food that I needed in my bag. And even if I did want to run 100 kilometers a day, I need to make sure I get the end point before the shop shuts. I can't get there at 2 a.m. because they're not even open. So yeah, it was just a logistics issue. And if I had someone with me, or someone to support or bring supplies, then maybe I could have done it. But then again, do I want to? I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with what I've accomplished. And, if before planning this, I could have done it, I would have done it. But I'm actually quite happy with what I've done.
And that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Like, if you're satisfied with what you've achieved, then what else can you ask yourself?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But no, because I think it's worth clarifying that you did this unsupported. You were carrying your kit, your sleeping stuff, your food, everything.
That's right.
Whereas obviously, whilst very, very impressive, people that may have done the full route may have had support, people to help them out, vehicles, whatever it is, and you just go out and do it. And I think, obviously, you look at it in context and you say, okay, unofficial and didn't do the full route, but 3,000 route.
Yeah. 3,000.
We're getting to where we're going, where we are, what we're going about, and that's whatever it is.
3,000 miles.
Deserves the recognition.
Yeah, 120 days, 15 kilos, it's mad. Yeah, I do get that.
What does that compare to what the army carrying, though?
It's about the same.
Is it?
Yeah, I was speaking to someone the other day, and it's about 15 kilos.
Yeah.
And I think generally they do like a 15-mile route, 15-mile thing.
Okay.
So that's only like one test.
Sure.
Can't do an extra 10 miles on top of that daily. Everyone's so much in the army, but it's not clear. It's not clear.
No, we were up in over Wales, Penny Fan the other day, and
Yes.
a guy clearly like he was on a training man army, all kitted out, and the bag he was carrying just looked. I didn't want to put it on, let alone march at a fast pace that he was. So, those sort of people you got fair play.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, anyway, I think it's worth kind of sort of getting to the point of kind of where you started with this. Because obviously with this, it's very much to try to talk to amateur athletes, so people who are taking their training very seriously, or maybe getting started training very seriously. But obviously, as we all do, balancing that with kind of everyday life, work, family, social engagement, whatever it may be, the time restrictions that come with that. So you haven't always been doing this, have you? This was by no means kind of a normal outing for you.
No, not at all.
So I suppose, where did the idea come from? Why did you decide to go and do this?
I began looking at like things I could do that would elevate my mind and stimulate me towards another level. So I was looking at super challenging jobs. I was like, which is for the first thing. I saw there's also a bit of you kind of want to be badass. So you want to be badass. So I was like, David Goggins does this flying flying forest walk. And I was like, right, that's cool. I was in David Goggins, massive runner, so I was like, no, well, let's see what that's about. And I looked at on-call flying work, but it just required serious skill. And so what I started looking at was, what can I do that is low skill that just is mainly mental resilience, and I can do entirely solo without the need of anyone else's approval. And it was simply as that. It was getting your own 2 feet and just run around your higher energy level. That was really it, because I also don't like running in a straight line and back and then running the same route that you just ran.
Sure.
It makes it feel longer. So
I think we got to do before we let them know.
yeah. So I just thought, let's just do it so I don't have to run the same race. Do a big old leap, and here we are now.
Okay, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
But why the whole thing? Like, because people might go, I want to start about, or they might see dogs, because everybody's seen dogs now. Well, most people have. He's got some talking with, isn't he? He's brilliant. But it's one thing to go and say, but I want to start running more. It's another thing to go and say, I'm going to go down 3,000 miles.
Yes.
So what made you want to go for the extreme end, if you like, rather than just say, let's get money a bit more, let's sort of stay fit and whatnot?
Well, I had lots of, I did a bunch of MMA when I was younger, and that was great. I tried lots of different things online. I googled such YouTube, just to take other people's advice on how to live better, how to feel better, how to be happier, and I don't know, just nothing really sound with me, and it was really difficult to really find something that worked almost. So I felt that something true had to happen. And it was either, well, I wasn't happy with living. I didn't really want to, but it wasn't really an option for me. It didn't feel right to just say, take it easy, man. Once again, let's quit. I'm going to do that. So I thought, let's do something where I either die in the process or I complete this. And that was kind of the thing. I'm either quit it if I literally can't and my leg's broken, which I did think it was going to happen at one point, or I'm dying, or I'm winning. There was no other option there. So
What do you think made it so black and white then?
I started to complicate things.
Just curious.
Yeah, that's part of the reason. So I've been going to admit that as well. That's why I didn't really plan much, because it was just I just wanted to keep playing simple. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It gives you self-reliance as well. So it's just really.
Well, let's dive into that now then. Why didn't you plan that? Because I guess someone would look at this and think, like training, I've got a plan, I want to think about food, time, everything, right?
Yeah.
You would have thought there's a lot more to go into this, but you're saying maybe not.
It's just about turning out for yourself. So I had 6 months I gave myself to train or do whatever. I had no real plan. I was just asking ChatGPT, what should I be doing? He gave me those things I should be doing. I never did them.
Sorry.
So I was just kind of like, I had intentions to train. I had intentions to do stuff which never really came about. It wasn't a conscious decision. So, but I knew that I would be able to work out. The reason why there wasn't the pressure there to train and to plan everything was because I had the self belief. It's delusional self belief. And I think that's powerful. I think if anybody has got delusional self belief, we're using anybody who has done something successful has got that. Yeah, it's people at the bottom in the slums saying I'm going to be an NBA.
Yeah.
It's people at the bottom saying they're going to be at the top, and that's what drives people. And everyone looks at them and says they're insane. Those same people are always the ones that end up at the top.
Until they're not.
Until they're not, exactly.
Then everybody wants to be like that.
You tell the guy, me, who was just working a good old chefing job, who never really ran, let alone with a mag, and he says he's going to run on a perimeter of Britain. Nobody thought I'd do that. I had a lot of people saying, well, nobody said it to my face. I heard a lot of people say Arthur, but everyone was just like, I don't think you can come out of that. And here we are. Exactly. Here we are. So it's delusional self-belief. I have got a question originally, but...
Yeah, it's more just the black and white nature of it. But no, I think that's all fascinating. I love it. How do you find it running with Barry? I guess it was kind of how you obviously got into it. That was just kind of part of running for you. But I think people would obviously find that very quite different. I mean, running's hard enough without running.
Yes.
I go back. But did that sort of create any issues in terms of like just load on the knees, ankles, or anything?
Definitely, yeah. Well, because I didn't really train for it, I whacked on the back, and I said, so before I started September 1st, I went for my first ever simulation run. I think it was probably 2 weeks before, with the full load of the bag. I know, right?
Well, it's one. Most people you consider a deload at that point.
I
thought about it. I'm going to start.
Well, I was like, oh, let's see how it feels. And I got about 15 kilometers in, and I was wrecked. I had to get something here. So, at 15 kilometers. I don't know, 15 miles. Either way. I didn't do it in a marathon. And I was like, what's going to be? And, well, I still at that point, I was in too deep. I was just, you went to go with it. So the band, when I started, it definitely had some issues. It had a lot of pressure. It added a lot of stress on my knees. It gave me a few injuries. But I mean, you just get used to it. I think after 2 months, my body was just used to it.
Sure.
And you just don't even think about it. It feels weird to go for a run without it.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it's going to feel weird running without the bag.
Yeah.
And
You feel quite light.
yeah, it's like when you change my centre of mass.
No,
It's
sure.
before running always like leaning forward.
Yeah.
Just to keep the bag up, but now it's going to be really weird. Yeah, so I got some issues. But once again, it's just like, what was the other option?
Yeah.
Like a little shopping trolley?
Little granny bag.
Yeah, I think.
Well, what was your first little, I'll say hiccup, but I'm sure there might have been some much bigger challenges, but what was your first kind of point you went, I guess, is a bit of a problem?
Probably day 14, I sprained my ankle. So I just come out of National Park on Swarming Trail, and I was feeling so good. I had a hotel the night before. They even had a hot tub, and I was like,
Oh, man.
yeah, I was living the dream. And I'm in the hot tub in the morning, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling fresh. So I left, I was springy, and I went straight on the trail, and I was jumping over these puddles, I was jumping over the holes, and I jumped over this one puddle, and then my ankle just on the side, and I had a little bit of a pop or a crack, and I was like, that's not good. So I chilled out for a couple minutes, and then I went out to run a half marathon.
As you do,
yeah, you know, it's alright. And it felt alright for the first maybe 10, 15k, and then as I was coming into, I think, Portsmouth? No, it wasn't Portsmouth. I don't know, I was coming into some sort of town, and it was just killing me. I could barely put any weight there. But I slept on, and I then got it checked in the morning. There was some little bone fragments in there. She didn't say it was fractured, but there was something. And I was just like, okay, how long do you reckon I should rest this up? And she said I could not recommend running in it for at least like 6 weeks. And I was like, okay, I'll take today off, and I'll be back on it again tomorrow probably. So then I just got back on the road after one day. It was a little bit sore, but it recovered. I just got it moving, got it flexible, and it seems to be alright. It seems to be all moving about now. So yeah, it was really sore. It was literally like a tennis ball in there.
Yeah, I bet. Probably we should put on some kind of disclaimer, maybe if you do have a sprained ankle at home,
Don't do that.
Run with a 50-kilogram value back for quite a long time. But no, I think flip side of that is I always find stuff like this fascinating because there's always a conventional advice that should be followed, rightly so, when you have an injury, whatever it is, or like your rise storage schools and just rest, keep off mobility, whatever it is. But equally, you've got an example, you hear these all the time from people where you have an injury and you cracked on, ultimately. I mean, don't know if you've got a scan since.
I still question.
Like you got it done at the end of the day.
Exactly. Like
I think it shows how impressive the human body is.
really, it really is. Like it healed so quickly. I think. But, but anyway, it felt alright, and I managed to get it done. And that's the main thing. And that's what I've learned so much about this is that I've always gone stats. Always asking Google, always asking ChatGPT, what should I do? What should I do in this situation? What should I do here? What should I eat? But I found, and I wish I knew this, if even starting sports, is that you just got to get into it and see how you feel. That's the main thing, is that you just got to see how you feel, what works for you as a person, because everybody is different.
Yeah.
The stats that are taken from Google has worked for someone else and they've documented it.
Yeah.
But then there's someone out there who's tried something else, but they've never documented it, and that's not online. So you just got to see what works for you.
That was actually one of my questions, because it's something you've spoken about on previous episodes before, and just the importance of listening to your body and knowing your body. And there isn't a one answer fits all. There's not a one size fits all solution. One training plan, one calorie method, whatever it is, isn't going to be widespread work for everyone. Everybody's different, right? And how important was that for you, kind of on just generally throughout the journey, then, in terms of knowing when, I don't know, let's say you could have done grant, today I'm going to get an extra 500k, today I need to wipe back, not do so much. Were you really in tune with that, or was that kind of a gradual process to...
Like knowing how much I could do in a day.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning, it was purely feel. I was like, okay, I do not feel good right now. I probably can only do a half marathon. And I got really, I was a little upset with that. I was like, I can only do a half marathon. Granted, it's quite big.
Yeah.
Granted, I said I was going to do a marathon. I was a bit like, well, it's a bit not the part. But that was all Devon, Dorset, Cornwall. And the second round to Wales, I started picking up a bit of a pace. I did have some issues with shin splints. Then after that, about 2 months in, I really began to build up my self-confidence in what I could do and trust in myself. That's the main thing, just trusting myself that I can do these things. The second you don't believe that you can do it, I mean, if you've still got 6 hours to go on a run and you're thinking, I can't do this, you can't be thinking that for the 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I then did a 100-kilometer run overnight for 25 hours. And since then, my self-confidence has just been, I can do anything. So now I can wake up and I say, what's the furthest I can go? 55 kilometers? I can probably do that. And just knowing that I can physically do it, and if I feel like I can't, that's a mind game. And I think the body is so much more capable of things that we believe.
Yeah.
And it's just the mind that lets us down. It's always the limitations that are set by other people that play on us. Don't know if you know about the story of, there was an Australian farmer. Don't know if you know this. So he entered a race, and I think it was like a 5-day race. But nobody told him he was meant to rest or go to sleep. He just thought it was a non-stop race. So he just turned up in a pair of like flat farmer shoes.
Yeah.
And just ran until he finished the race without resting, and he beat the record by a day and a half.
Yeah.
That's because he didn't have the limitations set there.
Sure.
Nobody told him you were meant to rest, so he was just like, oh, you're just meant to go non-stop then, are you? And that itself shows how important it is to have the right belief system.
Oh, it's nuts. You hear stories like this where, I guess the norm is just very different on an extreme level. I never remember. I think it's a Nepalese woman, and she entered a load of ultras, and she wore like a traditional dress. She wore basically what were their version of sandals, and when people beat the heck out of all these people, all this gear, all the right trains, she was supporting, and she was just there cracking on. But that was just like obviously not normal, but ingrained in everything.
Sure, yeah.
And it wasn't sort of, well, you've got to have this strategy, you walk on that. Jesus, I did it. And it just shows, like, if you know what your body can do and you're used to doing it, rather than being, well, this is what everyone else does, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Why would you always do that? Why would you always do that?
Like, I had been told, obviously, like coming into something where there's not many people you can ask how they felt during
No,
it.
sure.
So I was like, okay, I've just got to do it and see how it goes. So in the first month or two was figuring out how I feel.
Yeah.
And then once I got the gist of that, then it was, okay, these are my boundaries. I set them for myself. And before going into it, after once understanding how I set.
Was there anyone that you did speak to that had done similar challenges or similar routes?
I spoke to someone who walked the English coastal path.
Okay.
Just like see how she felt. I think I don't fully remember the conversation, but I think I had a couple conversations with her. But there wasn't. I didn't like reach out to anyone. I didn't like even really research who did it. I didn't have any in-depth conversations. I was just thinking I'll figure it out. Like, it's one of those things is that their experience is going to be entirely different to mine.
True.
And I always have this thing where I do feel like I'm very different to people. So I'm very different in the way that I think and very different in the way I act. And I do understand that. So the fact that...
Do we need to pause? It's alright. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
Sorry? No, so I thought that if I speak to other people, they could be setting limitations on me.
Yeah.
They could tell me their problems and then I can suddenly go think that's a problem. You know, so I just figured I'll work it out. Whatever's in front of me, I'll run it and we'll go from there.
Well, what about from like more inspiration point of view? You spoke about Dobbins earlier, as we kind of said. I think everybody's quite familiar with his nutty work and rightly or wrongly, it can serve as some youthful motivation. But was that someone that you went up on it? Was there anyone else that really sort of thought, damn, I want to do something like that?
I didn't really. I listened to some of his podcasts, Joe Rogan, but I would say like I looked up to anyone really, not like inspired me to do this. I think I looked to people like Ross Cook, who ran South Africa, someone David Goggins who never ran and was fat, and he managed to run 100 miles in 24 hours. I don't know what it was, but. And I was like, mate, if he can do that, I can do anything. And here's the thing. So I was 16, and when I was 60, I knew nothing about running. Didn't know about shoes, electrolytes, food, whatever. And I just thought, this guy ran 100 miles, was fat, on no trainer, with a box of crackers. I can do something. So I decided to go run 100 miles from Brighton to London and back.
Okay.
I got to crawl, which was about, I think, maybe 14 miles. And I was like, oh, I'm a bit overhead. So then I literally spent, I probably spent another 7 hours just crawling my way back. Because I ran until I could not go any further. And I still had to do that same distance back. I also didn't know really about routes. So I tracked on Google Maps. It told me to go on the motorway. And I didn't know it was illegal. Yeah, so it's completely illegal. And I had everyone honking at me, and I was like, why are you honking at me? Like, just because I'm different and I can go on here, and no one else has the balls to do it, it doesn't need to honk at me. But then I had a policeman pull me over and say, man, can't be done there. So, and I was like, well, anyway, I didn't realize it was illegal. So, etc. But yeah, it was just looking at people who had done this, so I was like, these guys are just normal guys. What makes them different from me? And why can't I do these massive things?
Was it more of a personal journey when you were talking about on the kind of day-to-day of it, if you like, in terms of what drove you, if you like, what got you out of bed every morning, rather than it being, as you say, people you may have looked up to at the start of it?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the person who inspires me now is 18-year-old me. That's the person, because I look at him and he's the one telling me, I don't have the ability to do these things anymore. I don't have the ability to say, I'm going to go out to the trail, I'm going to go cycle around Europe, I'm going to go run to the other side of the planet. He can't do these things. So he's telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, man, well, I'll do that for you. I'll get out of the way. And I'll give you some stories from the grandkids. So, yeah, that's someone who's inspired me, because it's not having the ability to do it. As well, that's something I really realised. Over the 120 days, there was a lot of stuff I couldn't do because I didn't have the energy or I was too knackered. There's a lot of stuff I just felt like a bit, I can't go there, I can't go see that side, I can't do that. And that feeling, like, literally not being able to do it because my needs are too achy or go see that cliff was a bit like, I could almost resonate the person who was Amy. And I felt like I was almost in the shoes a little bit because look, my knees have been getting bad. As you'd expect. Yeah, the 80-year-old version would be.
Yeah.
Probably.
So what was it like on those days, as you say, when it was the knees, you just shot for it while coming out? You didn't take rest days, didn't you?
Tonight.
Okay, there we go. Nice.
Yeah.
Perspective of people. 9 rest days, who you get. No, but I think that's interesting because some people might think, okay, well, crack was sort of running over that day. But what was it a case along those days that like I just can't move, or was there more? Did you sort of earmark that? Okay, well, I should probably have a rest here or there. Or...
It started out. My first rest day was a sprained ankle. That was my second rest day. That was kind of I woke up one day and I was kind of like originally I was going to run, but I woke up, I was at a campsite and I was like, actually, there's a lot of stuff I need to catch up on, which have a rest day. So it's been very just feeling around. Really, it's not been planned. The times I had the rest days, I had 3 rest days because of shipments. I took 1 and then I ran again, and then I was like, I can't do that, so I took 2. So a lot of stuff came from that, and yeah, it's just whenever I don't feel great.
Yeah.
But it was I never took a rest day on, I can't be bothered. It was more, there was always a reason I had shit with it. So I sprained ankle.
Yeah.
There's so much to catch up, maybe on socials. So there was always an actual reason. It was never, I can't remember, because that's a mental game that there's that somewhat an actual reason of I'm not feeling too good. And the days I didn't feel too great, I would run most miles. I would do a bit of test distance. I'd always get out on the road. And I'll test the legs. I'd say, okay, go warm up a little bit, see how I'm feeling. Then I'll say if I'll run this distance. And often I ended up feeling alright. And I ended up running full distance.
Did you account for your rest days originally?
No, I intended to take a lot more.
Yeah.
I didn't think, coming on no training, I didn't think that I was going to be able to do that much, that many miles. So I kind of working out as I go, just saying I'll take a rest day if needed. But then there was also like, I should get it done. I just want to get it on. So there's no but I had loads, I feel alright, I can run. I'm going to be knackered. If I'm not knackered, I'll be majorly surprised.
Yeah.
And yeah, I should be able to get out.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest lesson then, looking back on that whole process? That sort of, you say you're a different person now. Correct. What do you think was maybe the biggest thing that taught you that whole journey?
The biggest thing that taught me, the whole thing. It's just that you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself, you can trust how you feel, you can trust how you think, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, or you can take other people's advice, you can take their perspective, but at the end of the day, it's your life. There's no script, there's no, you got to do this, you got to do that. There's methods, there are road markings, but you just aren't paying for them. It's you can't live your life based on other people's ideas. You gotta make your own and trust yourself that you can do these things. Even whether it be running a marathon, whether it be running across the globe, whether it be whatever, you just gotta have self-belief. That's the most important thing, is self-belief.
I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with that. What about recovery? Was that even a thing you thought about?
Not before, yeah, I thought I had a lot more time to feel. I thought I was going to be bleeding in time. I thought I was going to have summer. But I found that actually the running mixed with the tense up, content as well, all of that, it did eat into time. So originally I was going to stretch for an hour a day, 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I ended up not stretching at all. But yeah, I think I do think now a lot of my recovery is because I'm so young, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I get bound to recover quickly.
Yeah.
So I definitely got that on my side.
Sure.
Whereas a lot of people, who do these things, a lot of people who do want to get active can be a bit older and a bit less not able to recover as quickly.
Now it's pretty far after straight. I can't even get by with that.
But then again, the oldest person to run the perimeter of Britain, he did the 5,200 mile route, and he ran a marathon every single day for 200 days. I don't think he took a single rest day. So that's more intense than what I do. And I think he's 67.
Yeah, but it's interesting kind of like the old traditionalist things. They do kind of say that you almost not. I don't want to say in true. I won't know if that's fair, but that with age almost comes with experience, and maybe another sport's kind of your youth is your friend almost. Whereas in Highland, just long or steady stay for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Age isn't so much a limiting factor.
I think a lot of young people are very need of stimulation.
Yeah.
So let's go out, let's do this, go for runs, do sprints, let's do this. I think old people, or people who are older than old people, I'll try and do like that.
I think you can be honest.
Yeah. So they have a lot more patience, they're a bit more disciplined, they've been through it, and they have also the wisdom to say, I can't do these sprints. They also don't have the option to go for sprints.
Yeah, true.
So they almost dumb down on the going a bit slower.
Yeah.
And they have the patience they also might not have as much to do in life. There's less options. So I think that when you get older, it makes it like, I'm not going to say easier, but I'm more focused.
Yeah.
More direct with the running.
No, for sure. What about eating then? Because I think that's something that's probably going to be quite interesting to people because I mean, there's constantly talk about we should be eating on a daily basis anyway. But what does someone eat when you're like, what were we averaging? 50k a day? 40, 50k a day?
40, 50k a day.
40, 50k, yeah. What does a diet look like for a 40, 50 calories a day?
So, when I started, originally, I did do a bit of research into food. And I thought, okay, well, this diet, so I looked at people who ran the length, and they all were saying, peanut butter, drink olive oil, just like slam down a bunch of calories.
Shit like that. So like dense stuff.
Yeah. But I also got a little bit getting into carrying the peanut butter carrying wraps. So I was trying to have like cooked food, lots of calories. But you know what? I figured out pretty within the first couple of weeks. I was just like, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't work for me. My gut doesn't feel great. I don't really want to eat it. So I began just waking up. I eat a bunch of food. It'll usually be like just the granola pots. Just like 3 granola pots, a banana, and maybe like a croissant or something in a coffee. It's not really an ultra-marathon diet, is it?
Yeah.
And then we got on the road, and I just have like these little Nature Valley potent honey bottles.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
This morning.
You got
Love them.
Yeah, I just have like maybe, depending on how hungry I get after a liquid, maybe 2 or 3 of that. And then I'll finish the day, and I'll have like a tin of mackerel, a huel, maybe 3 pot noodles, and maybe like a treat as well, just like give me chocolate bar, pack of cookies, something just where you can get a bit extra calories in. But you know what, I don't think that's a majorly massive diet like that.
No.
Like that's
I eat like 4 Nature Valley miles on a normal.
But that's what I'm trying to do. But you know what? That felt right.
Yeah.
It felt right for me. I didn't feel stuffed. I didn't feel unenergetic. Might have been the amount of caffeine I was drinking.
I was with a bagel.
Yeah.
How much caffeine were you consume?
I think anytime I saw a coffee shop, I was in there. To be honest, I was getting coffee. I saw coffee machines, double espressos. I was just getting it all down. I saw tenders. I saw any drinks. I was going for a call. To be honest.
Oh, brilliant! And did you ever not feel like we were getting? Do you know how many calories you're burning a day? Were you wearing a smartwatch or anything?
I began to, but it would die very quickly because I spent a lot of time already.
Sure.
I think I was probably burning like 4,000-5,000 calories a day. Potentially, at least those were like early on.
Yeah.
It might have been more. I don't actually know, but it was definitely a lot.
Yeah.
And for some, I lost a bit of weight at the beginning, as to be expected. But for some reason, it just worked out.
Yeah.
I just I felt right with not eating as much.
Yeah.
It's weird. I definitely damn right if I go past a bread or something, or I might pass just like a shop that had hot sauce and roll. It's like, yeah, that's the one. And made hot food.
Oh God, bet. I was going to say, you took a stove view, right? But hot food must have been so fairly limited.
Yeah, I took it in jet oil. Originally, I started out just like a little stove kit, was just like a little fire ham, and I was like, oh, when I'm going to run it, I'm going to make so much cool stuff. I'll cut some onions, I'll make up a meal, I'll like make lentils and tomatoes. That's cool. Never did any of that once.
Yeah.
It originally was too much effort.
I was going to say, that actually doesn't surprise me as well. I don't have any energy to cook a meal as well. So you got that.
Well, I like cooking. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I work as a chef. Not yet, but hopefully soon.
Yeah.
That's my job. And I really do like cooking. It's a passion. So I was like, I've learned so much cool stuff. I can use this knowledge. I never had to go around to it. And I
hot noodles and cookies and
hot noodles, cookies. Yeah, I also have the tortellini and sauce. You can get them at Co-ops and Sainsbury's and stuff. I don't know if you know them.
I don't.
But it's like
you're making me hungry though.
Oh well, yeah. Well, they just sell like this tomato just like tomato and basil sauce, and they also sell pasta. And I was like, whack it in there, cook it up, it's ready. It tasted amazing. They got a lot of comes in.
I was going to say, pasta's probably perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, so actually as well, I did have those to begin with, and they got really awkward trying to wash the pan, so I ditched that. And I found out on like maybe 2-3 months in that in the meal deal section, so I never go over there, they've got like these ready to eat pasta pots. And that was a game changer. I'm telling you, man. Like, just like these 300-gram tubs of cheese and tomato pasta, ain't the same. Like, I mean, the flavour's not equal that, but just to have that pasta there, I love pasta. It's such a good car.
Yeah. I feel we're completely off topic here. Like, what other secrets? No, I want to go into this, man. What other secrets do you find on the meal deal? Because this is important information.
You know what? These little the little snack packets of serene maltos.
Oh yeah.
Those are hard to come by because I didn't always have the shops there. But when I did, to Gold. That was honestly a dream. I love finding them, and sometimes I also get just like, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. My sandwich choice, if I did get one, it was always just plain out. Yeah, your smile went straight away.
Did you put crisp there?
No.
That's the only time it's ever acceptable.
No.
That you get just ham sandwich, but you layer it with like cheese, onions, salt, and crisp. Wow, together.
I might get a cake for soup. I hate crisps.
Oh no. I mean, I'm not a massive crispy, so even that doesn't come to me.
No, I have strongly dislike.
So what was your, this is a important question to know, what was your meal deal order, or your go-to one? Because I'm guessing you probably changed it quite a bit.
I could be quite fussy with it, but it was either Hillbread's drink to make or a plain ham. And then you're serene as well.
Yeah.
And then a drink we like a little bit of orange juice.
Okay.
But if you can get it, it would either be Jimmy's iced coffee.
Oh yeah.
But they're good.
Oh yeah, they're good.
If it does come in it, a little Tenzi. So those are the ones I mixed and matched. I didn't switch up too much, don't be too crazy. There's also the flat tracks as well in the other section as well. That's a good little
There you go.
Amateur athletes.
That's the discipline bill. Meal deal information from the man himself. Okay. I suppose the last one like that is kind of, did you find there was you could just crack on a pea when you were hungry? Or were you really trying to balance, because I'm sure people relate to this at any running point, you haven't got to balance that fueling versus you don't want to be too full because you're shaking around my road at the time, right? Was that in your mind, or was it just it carries it?
To begin with, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I was like, we got to make sure time, sure.
Yeah.
But then I got later on, I was just like, man, I can be stuffed from the beginning of the run. I get 3 hours in, I'm like, where can I get something? I'm starving it. So yeah, it began like that very quickly. I just started eating, even whilst running, or just like there's one time I was doing a marathon and I got half marathon in, saw a place that sold roasts, and I was like, you know what, I'm stopping for a roast. I got one, run another half marathon straight away. So
So you beat marathon fueling strategy.
it really
I
is.
don't think that's going to be one that gets widely adopted, funny enough.
I recommend it.
You can't, I can't see you doing that in the Olympics.
Look,
It's just calm, man. Bit of pork, bit of gravy, lapped on the roast potatoes.
It's elite fuel.
Yeah, evidently so, man. Okay, you touched on it earlier but about social media and
Sure.
kind of the sort of the following, the support you started getting. Where did that kind of get like, oh damn, people are paying attention here? Because obviously you said it was more that I'm just going to document it. Great, I think that's brilliant. But obviously there was also a lot of positives. Like you got actually a lot. I mean, I've just sort of seen reading through your comments and whatnot. So many people just
A lot, yeah.
cooling you off.
Yeah, I think up to, well, started this on 6.0 and then now I'm at 10.8, which recording this. And it's kind of like, well, I didn't really know what would happen. It started to blow up at around day 17 when I was around Loch Ness. I had one video go viral, but it went to like over 100k. And that was when I was kind of like, oh, something's happening.
Yeah.
And then I got a little bit like, oh, I feel like I've got to be quite good at content now. I reckon it was starting. Then I was just also like, that's really bad.
Yeah.
I felt like Thomas had to copy other people and say, oh, this is what Artist Geese does. Let's do his content. That's what we want. But then his content is unique to him. That's what makes it unique.
Yeah.
So the people that my story, which I thought was like just a basic regular story, it's what it felt like to me because I was familiar with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, people want to hear that. People want to hear my story. And it's not, they don't want to hear just another hardest geezer. They don't just want to hear they just want to hear the uniqueness.
Yeah.
And even though it's gone to me, that's what people want.
Oh yeah, I think as you said it earlier, that just being able to provide a source of inspiration to people and motivate you, right? And you've got to then tell that in your own authentic way. There's no point trying to do what someone else has done, just to do well from that. And
Exactly, yeah. There's a reason that you're not going to sneak your partner around because like this is actually I really like the setup. Yeah. It's a nice setup.
It does the job. It does the job. We do steal the old sort of inspiration from the likes of but no, we try and do our own thing. I think that's yeah. I mean, you've got to, right, because I think social media can be a world of rinse and repeat. Like, you get sort of like the trend videos or sort of setups where you've got to do a certain style or a certain song or whatever it is. But I think at the end of the day now, it's so, I was going to say busy, in that if you're not just doing what is you, like people just going to find you out and they'll be like, this is weird, or you're just doing what someone else is doing. Like, just do what you need to do. It's even interested. Like, great, crack up.
Yeah.
And you'll get more people that invest in that. Otherwise, it's nothing really. I don't think there's more to it than that in life.
For sure.
Yeah. The kind of other thing with social media is these sort of challenges, I guess you say endurance feats, and that's probably the most common one in terms of like the long distance and stuff. I do feel like it's always becoming normalised. Is this something you were kind of made to be aware of, or sort of were aware of originally? And how did that kind of influence you?
I didn't realise how many challenges were going until I started doing them. That's when they started coming.
Sure.
I knew it was big ones, the main ones everyone's heard about. But I didn't realise there were so many people doing different things. And now, yeah, like I said, it is almost becoming normalised. I think it's great. I as long as people don't go too head first, I wouldn't recommend doing what I did. It probably isn't wise for a lot of people.
Why?
Because
It is so really a lot of good. Why would that not maybe have the same effect on someone else?
Because I know me. I've gone through. I've had a very different history, and everybody else. People can come up in a second class world, have like a banging life, and then think this guy's done that. I'm not gonna do it. The difference is, I mean, I've come from a second class background where you're like all out there, middle class, whatever, and I've come from a place where I've been tested a lot, especially at a younger age, mentally, where I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I was almost homeless for a year, and that was kind of it pushes you, and it's that itself has given me a self confidence that I can rely on myself.
Mm.
I'm able to do these things. And I've had a lot of experiences, especially with like MMA, which was my main thing. I wanted to be an MMA fighter. That's given me a lot of confidence in me. So a lot of people look at it black and white and say, "Oh, this guy's a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. I can go do this thing," but they don't know what I've been through to know that I've got the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
But what is giving them the confidence to do it? So I feel like I kind of did get, although I did no training, I knew that I had self-belief.
Yeah.
And a delusional self-belief to do these things. That's what drove me. So for someone else, I wouldn't recommend it because not everyone's been tested. Some people have gone through life not cushy, but not everyone's had extreme hardship.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the importance of that? Because I think that's something. It is relative to everyone, right? I too had knee injury and I've spoken about on this podcast, and that for me was a period of adversity, and that people deal with much worse things. But for me, that was pretty bad. I had a rough time of it, especially to start with. But that taught me a hell of a lot in terms of how to be like, right, okay, in a bit of a crap situation here, but I'm going to work out of it. And I think until you've really faced something like that, whatever that is for you, something that really pushed you to go, this isn't good, how am I going to deal with it, and how am I going to deal with it the right way, to then be like, right, okay, well, I now know how to deal with something like that, to then have the confidence, almost as you say, have that self-belief that, okay, if something comes up again, I'm going to be all right. I can handle this.
Yeah.
Is that something you really sort of, do you look back on that now in terms of, okay, I've had that tough period, you said homelessness. I don't think people will argue that it doesn't get much tougher than that. You're now in a better place for it.
For sure. Yeah, I'm glad that happened because it made me very resilient and self-reliant, and it gave me a belief that, even at a young age, that I can work it out. And that was one thing, because obviously you don't plan, it's pretty hard to plan what to do from there. So that was a little thing where it's just, I'll work it out. And now my mindset, I'll work it out. Whatever comes, I'll sort it. Just not overthinking it, just so whatever comes. That mindset has got me here.
Would you say that's a form of peace in a sort of unique way?
Yeah, and also to live very presently. I'm not, even now that I've just finished running, but the last couple of days being home, I haven't really thought about the past too much. I haven't thought about running about that. I haven't thought about the next stage. I'm just living now. I'm just saying, what can I do now to better me? It's that 1% better every day, isn't it? So yeah, it's just turning up every day and saying, now I'll work out whatever it is, whether it be what am I doing for breakfast today, or how am I going to be successful in life? It's just work out.
A strong place to be in.
As long as you are working out, I'm not saying I'll work out later. Yeah, that's very different.
It is very.
Because I'll work out and you're actively thinking about it. Yeah.
Rather than there.
Yeah.
What about the loneliness bit? Because I think we've kind of touched on a number of things of how people might perceive this. Would go down 120 days alone. Did it feel lonely?
I obviously had people to call. I had social media. Social media was always people like feeling like they're always watching. And it definitely got lonely because you do need to talk to people face to face and experience that. Especially in Scotland, that was very desolate for a lot of times, and the loneliness does get to you when you're there for doing for like a week where you don't really have full conversation aside from most like grocery store, and you're doing that, you do get into a mental rut, and almost because you don't speak to anyone, there's no one to take you out with it, and once you're in your own head, it's very easy to stay there.
Yeah, spiral.
It's a very easy place to stay, and I had that. I was like that for a week, and then I had my first full conversation with someone in about a week, where we were talking for like 30 minutes, and I realised after that, I was like, I'm not thinking about how can I'm not trying to think how bad I feel. And I actually feel better because it's almost you're in your own head and you talk to someone. I like to imagine like this. When it's just you're in your own head. And then when you speak to someone else, it's almost like we're connecting ideas up here, and I'm out of here, and I'm over here,
Yeah.
and we're almost like sharing the same wavelength. And to take a shot at your own head, it's almost a break from what you're thinking. So that's just what I live in presently. If I'm present now, we are sharing the same wavelength, and we're thinking almost the same ideas, sharing the same thoughts.
Yeah, I always sort of kind of view that kind of thing as like a form of release in the sense that if you're not talking about something, and I think it's obviously always becomes more important when you're facing hardship, whatever it may be. If you're just like, well, I'm going to deal with this on my own, I can crack on, be fine. It's only going to get worse. It's all like in your own thing. Whereas even if you're just saying it to someone and you just vent it, at least it's coming out.
Yeah.
And there's someone else to listen to it. And obviously there's an important side to it, like you should be trying to speak to someone who will listen. But if you can just get it out while just being stuck with it, I think you're always going to be better off. Always. And, well, I think here's a prime example of that. You found a period where you couldn't, and then you could.
That's exactly it. Yeah. A lot of people need to talk more.
Yeah.
You bury it up, and it stays in there, and it never comes out.
Yeah.
But then eventually, it is exactly the knowledge. You talk about it, and you hear how it sounds, and especially because if you came to me, if we were best mates, and you came to me with a problem, instantly I'm thinking, how can I help? So the second I start saying out loud, it's almost like you're subconscious in your own saying, how can I help?
Yeah.
For me, that's what I think. Because when you're in you don't think that when you're thinking about it. When you hear it out loud, you're almost reloaded back to saying, what can I do?
Yeah.
So that's to actually solve this and work with it. Because when it's vocalized, it sounds like it feels present, feels there. Yeah, to speak about things more is massive fun. It does shift your perspective there.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But what about kind of the flip side of it, though? Because I think, did you view the solitude of the journey kind of through a more positive light in terms of this is time for me to take on something impressive, or was it I need to be able to have those moments intermittently if they are, I can speak with other people and get that sort of connection?
Well, I knew it was temporary. I knew that I was going to be home eventually. I knew I would see someone that I know eventually. We had to have a conversation. So I think that's the same with a lot of people. Some people don't have that option and how your current situation.
Yeah.
But to know you will see someone eventually is to say, even if I am really out, let's embrace it. Let's use it. Let's see embrace how I feel. And how can I use this to my advantage? For me, it was being able to figure out how I feel in certain situations. I really tuned into what made me feel better. Even just waking up at 10 and being in daylight, that makes me feel so much better. Just getting out in the sunlight.
Yeah.
That's what makes me feel great. And it was something so simple. In the last 2 days, I made sure to get out in the sunlight so I can wake up, and it changed my day completely. And maybe getting fresh air, it's just, I'd say use your loneliness to embrace it and get the opportunity. Because we live in a very busy world, a very overstimulated, busy world.
Yeah.
So to get those opportunities where you feel lonely, it's almost a luxury, I'll say, these days. Depending on your situation. Obviously, if you have lost the kids, then I can understand if you're feeling lonely. So, but use it to reflect.
Being still, I think.
Yeah.
Not violent all day, stillness is the key. One of my favourite books because I'm rubbish at it.
Yeah.
And if you can just take moments to do nothing. Just relax and just try not to be stimulated. Not be busy. It's hard, but
it is hard. Yeah, brutal. I still struggle with it now, but it almost feels like if you're just sitting here doing nothing, it almost feels like you're doing nothing. But you are doing something. Because you're giving yourself time to think. And I think it allows you to get your ducks in a row, so to speak, and get your thoughts in a row. It's very easy to say I'm not doing anything if you're just not doing anything. But it's very important.
Yeah. What did you? I wouldn't say not prepare for, but I mean that in a positive way as much as a bad way, in the sense of you just said there about how the sunlight in the morning could make your day. What were things that maybe, give me one thing that was a positive, one was a negative that maybe you weren't expecting, you weren't prepared for, you weren't ready for?
A positive and a negative.
Yeah.
That I wasn't ready for. I would say, yeah, positive. Waking up in nature. That was really, really impactful thing. Waking up and the grass is right there. You're in fresh air. You got sunlight, and it's a really nice environment. If you wake up doing it in a bedroom, often it's too cozy, it's too warm, it's too nice, it's too luxurious, it's almost too refined. And so that's made me feel very in touch with myself and the world around me. A negative thing that I didn't prepare for. Do we mean anything here?
Yeah.
A negative thing that I didn't prepare. I guess where I pitched up my tent was very difficult because I knew I wanted to camp, but then again I knew that I couldn't go to a shop and then go 5 miles out to a random farmer's field.
Yeah.
So often what I did was like camp out in like a field inside the town. So often there was always people or dog walkers or sometimes there was a football game or whatever, and I was pitching up in fairly noisy or like communal areas. And that was probably not great at all because whether it be a dog person on the test or you get people coming along the same way you hear or a lot will thinking you're homeless or
I was going to say, do you get many sort of negative reactions from just people around you and whatnot, or were people generally supportive?
not as many as I thought. I thought
Yeah.
people did just think I was homeless and they were really sweet about it. I obviously explained to them I wasn't. But no, everyone was very nice about it. And getting I eventually got used to it. Just began to feel like it's not a problem. I'll just do this and go for a night. It's not hurting you. I'll go. Originally I was about paranoid about it, but I got used to it. And yeah, that was something that really affected my sleep. A lot of it really affected my sleep because you're in these new homes. You're like, who's around?
Yeah.
Who is going to be out of the tent when I wake up this morning? Who's out outside the tent at 3 a.m.? I've had times where I wake up in the middle of the night and I think I hear stuff, and I'm like, is there something outside? Whether I'm there, I might be awake for like 30 minutes, like a bit like talking me noise or if that's sleep, and the time usually I get around to opening the tent usually should good.
Yeah.
But still, it's very nerve-wracking when you're in the tent because you don't know if that's the last time you're in the tent.
Well, I imagine.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Okay, well, what's next? I feel that kind of is maybe the most pressing question, but
I've got a lot of questions about that, but I've got some ideas. There's definitely going to be a lot of physical challenges. Notice I didn't say running. I said physical. So, yeah, I've got a lot of ideas.
any clues?
What's that?
Any clues you can give away?
There'll be some records. There'll be, I've got a marathon in the backyard coming up. Probably come first in the backyard. That's the idea. And it's good. That's loaded for that. I've got some. I know I'm gonna do some 24-hour challenges. Whether it be, I'll say this one. Give us a little bit of hint, and I want to see how many times you can swim the English Channel in 24 hours.
Okay.
That would be interesting.
What does it take? One more.
I also can't swim, by the way.
Oh, sure, honestly.
Yeah, give me a minute. What is that? What, sorry?
How long does it take just to do one across the channel on one time?
I found different answers. I feel like it might be like 6-7 hours. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I feel like I could be wrong. But I just want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see how I'm just saying on some yeah.
Yeah, have you seen that What's Edge we got?
Yes.
From
Iceland.
Yeah.
See?
And he did Strong Around Great Britain as well.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I think. But yeah, that really seems. I think it's obviously nutty and impressive, but I think I like that it's not running because all these incredible challenges do often seem to be running. And you don't see many other swimming ones.
Yeah.
Saying yes, it's incredible, but it's one hell of a thing. But
something I find very inspirational as well was Spencer Matthews. He just finished second.
Ironman traveling, wasn't it?
It's
on seven
continents. On 7 continents, including Antarctica.
Yeah,
So that's
no joke.
That's no joke.
We need to on podcast, isn't it?
Untapped.
There we go. Shout out to the Untapped podcast.
That's the one.
Podcast. Okay. So maybe running, maybe swimming.
Maybe running, swimming, maybe cycling.
Maybe all three.
Maybe some rock climbing. Maybe we'll climb up the soil Snowdonian and see how quickly we can run down and back up again. I've never thought that before. That was random. But who knows?
What would you always
Maybe I'm going to go to some Asia, climb up the side of a mountain. There's a lot of physical challenge, a lot of ideas you could do. The ideas are endless.
No, I love that. There isn't any limitations. I think like that should be the way it is. Right? Like if you've just done this, then what can't you do?
Exactly.
Is a better question, right? Okay, I want to try and football. Not summarize, but try and bring it back to who we're speaking to and some of the ultra athletes.
Sure.
If you can try and summarize it in a sentence, or maybe put it into a quote or whatever, how does a normal guy, in inverted commas, go from being fairly fit to taking on something on this scale way outside their comfort zone?
It goes to you don't overcomplicate things. For some reason, a lot of people think that when you want to do extreme things, you want to do complicated things. But it's the simple things done well.
Yeah.
If you get into MMA, it's not about how quickly you can spin back roundhouse kick. It's about how well you can throw the jab.
Yeah.
It's very simple things done well. So relay that to the amateur athlete. It's what can you do that's simple, that's just turning it for yourself every day that you can learn from. Whether it be a 5-kilometer run, you do that 100 times, you'll learn something new. You'll keep learning new things about yourself, and you'll learn new boundaries. I would say just turning up for yourself. That's and being there and there, being consistent, because you can't learn everything you need to learn about you in a week.
No.
It takes a lot of time. And I've still got a lot to learn about me. By any means, I haven't really considered myself a professional athlete, extreme level athlete, even a runner. I just consider myself someone with a lot of mental discipline. And that's the difference. And I know what I'm capable of. I trust it because I've turned up for myself every day and I'm experimenting with my mind and seeing how far I can go. So it's consistency.
I love that. You speak with a lot of assurance. That's, if anything else.
I speak with assurance of my own beliefs. I can't speak for what works for everyone else, but there are sort of elementals of consistency. That's what anything, like I said before, it's about feeling, like something's different for everyone else, but something like consistency as a basic principle, that's something should be applied to everything. And that's what really gets you out.
Oh, I'm doing that. I just want to go back to one little thing before we sort of try and close things up. But the MMA, you kind of spoke about that being good thing as your kid and having maybe aims in that sport. But I think you hear a lot about, we actually spoke to a gentleman called Keaton, who's a boxer and boxing coach.
Okay.
And kind of the importance of the combat sports and how valuable they can be from a discipline point of view. How whilst they are obviously a violent sport by nature, they teach you to be more disciplined, maybe even not violent. What was kind of like your biggest takeaway from that sport and the impact it's had on you?
Once again, that's a solid sport. So I might even say again, the self-reliance.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're put in a situation and you have to grind yourself to maintain your cool, to hone your craft, to learn your skills, and to turn up for yourself every day and train. So the thing that fighting, kickboxing, MMA has done for me has just been able to it's allowed me to practice those fundamental techniques of not even to fighting, just the techniques of showing up yourself, being consistent, having the reliance on yourself, and those things play a lot in personal life because it makes you, it encourages you to work on time, to stay active whilst working and be productive, and it almost makes you feel efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's done wonders for just my own personal life, really. I wouldn't even say I've never had to use my ability to fight, but the fundamentals and that's improved have accelerated my work life or personal life by many fold.
Okay. Got some quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
Or they're meant to be. They don't always work out like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Don't stress. Hardest moment so far?
Day 39. Incidents. I thought my leg was going to break. That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Best moment you didn't expect. We kind of touched on this, but
You know what? Nah. The peak of Snowdon. Never climbed a mountain before. I didn't realise how nice it is to just be there, raw, climb a hill, be at the top and see some views.
yeah. What thought gets you moving on the toughest mornings?
The pain of regret.
What's been harder, the running or the time alone?
Time alone.
What has this challenge taught you about yourself?
I'm capable of anything.
What beliefs did you have before this that you no longer agree with?
That there are limits.
Yes. And what would you tell an amateur athlete who feels they're not doing enough?
As long as you're turning out, that's enough. That's it.
Love that. Okay, and then the question who was left that was left by our last guest, Tom, who is a decathlete, was what is your guilty pleasure that you wouldn't usually get to someone?
My guilty pleasure. I really do like, you ever heard of Ren? You know the musician?
Yes.
His music videos and bustling videos. I do watch them a lot. I think that's kind of the question you asked.
Okay. No, there wasn't any boundary.
I think not a guilty pleasure is. I don't really have much. I don't really watch much to be honest, but
It could be food, habit, sort of hobby, anything really.
during camping, I mean, a pack of cookies, the £2 double chocolate ones from Sainsbury's, whole pack of them, almost there.
Is this something let's get specific here? Just a taste difference, Martin, or is this their normal?
This is, I think this is a taste difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Double chocolate Sainsbury's.
Double chocolate. Sometimes we go triple because the lighter ones, aren't they're too sweet. Don't make cookies in Scotland. Every single cookie I got in Scotland was crumbly and hard. I don't know if Scotland people like that. But I don't know, the second I came back to England as well, they got softer.
Not on the cookies in Scotland.
No, unless you work.
Maybe that's just even serious lesson for Janet.
That's like my cookies.
Alright, brilliant. What question would you like to leave the next person?
If you could do anything, what would you do? Think about, I think a lot of people probably doing that, but if you could do any, if you could start a podcast, would you? If you could run a leg for the country, would you? If you could, or even if you couldn't, if you couldn't walk, what would you do if you could? So, what would you do if you walked?
Alright. Well, look, I just want to say thank you very much. Congratulations again. it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I think, as I kind of said earlier, you speak with a lot of assurance and with humility. I think if anything else, people can hopefully learn from that and take that away. And as you say, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything
No
else?
script.
No script. No script indeed. Anything else you want to ask or add before we wrap up?
I want to say thank you, Amateur Alphabet Diaries,
Yes, as we
for
have.
having me. I love the little setup. I really like it. I think it's going to be a good upcoming podcast. So make sure you follow.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Harrison.
Thank you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.